Hi guys, Creepy Timothy back in this bitch again. Alright guys, so today I would like to tell you guys some of the phrases that might help you when you're trying to get around train stations and trying to... 4th of July, so that's... Okay, so let's just do this while you guys enjoy the feeling of 4th of July in the States while I teach you guys Japanese phrases. How awesome, yay, alright. So, the accessibility in Japan is amazing. The main cities and all that, it's totally accessible from north to south, unless you're going to Okinawa, which is like Hawaii of Japan. So, it's really cool. But the thing is that a lot of people might struggle trying to figure out how to get to places because obviously not everyone can speak Japanese. And although people are very helpful, even if you can't speak Japanese, people will try to help you out. But, I mean, it always helps for you to be able to speak Japanese, right? Because then the people who work there will understand what you're trying to ask them, at least. So, and some people do speak English in Japan, like the people who work at train stations. But, it's always best not to rely entirely on the off chance that they can actually communicate perfectly with you. So here are some of the phrases that might help you out. So let's do it, alright? Okay, so possibly the most important thing that you want to know how to ask is when you want to get to a train station, like for example, you're at a certain train station and you want to get to Tokyo Station, right? And then if you want to ask that, you say, sumimasen. First of all, sumimasen means excuse me or sorry. Sumimasen is a very useful word because it's not used only when you're trying to apologize, but it's more so like excuse me, but in a very polite way. So whenever you want somebody's attention, like, oh, excuse me, like in a very humble way, sumimasen. That is going to be very useful or more like critical to know if you're learning Japanese anyway. So you say sumimasen, and then you say Tokyo Eki. Well, in this case, it's going to be Tokyo Eki because Tokyo Station is, let's just make that as an example, right? But here you can put any name of the station that you're trying to get to. The shorter way of asking, how do I get to Tokyo Station? You say, sumimasen. Tokyo Eki, do ikimasu ka? Tokyo Eki, do ikimasu ka? So that's way easier, right? This phrase is not wrong, but I'm saying, if it were me, I would ask, sumimasen, Tokyo Eki, dohatte ikebai desu ka? But that's a little too long, right? So I just shortened it. Sumimasen, Tokyo Eki, do ikimasu ka? Do ikimasu ka is how do I go to, kind of like, do ikimasu ka? Because in English, if you want to be more specific, you want to say like, how do I get to blah blah blah, right? But how do I go to is not wrong, but it's not as, how do you say, accurate, right? So it's kind of like that. But people will understand what you're trying to say nonetheless. So, sumimasen, Tokyo Eki, do ikimasu ka? Do means how, and ikimasu ka is like, how to go. So it's kind of like that. So you can substitute the Tokyo Eki with anything. Sumimasen, Osaka Eki, do ikimasu ka? Or just put anything there, like your destination, basically. So that's that. Next up is, if you want to know how much it costs, how much the ticket costs to get to Tokyo Station, then you can ask, ikura desu ka? Ikura desu ka? Ikura is how much, and desu ka is to put that formal feeling, to be humble. Ikura desu ka? But this sentence only works if you, first of all, ask the people who work there, like how to get there first, right? Like, sumimasen, Tokyo Eki, do ikimasu ka? And then they'll tell you, you take this train, blah, blah, blah. And then if you say, ikura desu ka? Then they'll understand, because the context, that they already understand the context. But if you just want to go straight up, and your first question is going to be, how much does it cost to get to Tokyo Station? Then you add, Tokyo Eki made, because unless you do that, like, they're not going to understand, right? Like, how much to what? Like, how much does it cost to what? What is your question? So you can go, Tokyo Eki made. Made means to, like up to. Tokyo Eki made, ikura desu ka? So you say 東京駅までいくらですか? And sometimes people might not understand because it might be just way out of the blue for you to ask that. So if you want to specify even more so they understand, then you can ask 切符いくらですか? 切符 is a ticket. 切符いくらですか? So if you want to ask them quickly, then you say 東京駅すみません. Yeah, first of all, just put すみません. 東京駅までいくらですか? They'll probably understand. But if they're still like, what? And then you can say 切符いくらですか? 東京駅までいくらですか? Just repeat those phrases and they'll get it. They'll be like, ah. And then they'll say, 350円 this or something like that. As far as the number goes, I mean, it helps to know how to count in Japanese. So that, I might do it in another lesson, but it always helps, right? But if you don't have time to cram that in your brain, then you can just, if you don't understand, then you can say like, I don't know, you can just switch to how much? Just make it close to the Japanese pronunciation so that they might understand better. Like how much? 350? Or just, try to start a conversation so that they can interact and then, at least you can get closer to the answer, right? If you don't know how to count numbers in Japanese. It's like how much? 100? 200? 300? Or something. I mean, you don't necessarily have to speak in a, how to say, Japanese accent, but maybe it's easier for them to understand what you're trying to say. Okay? But yeah, I mean, it always helps to know how to count in Japanese. Even if it's just from 1 to 10, you can just go, like, even if you can't say like 350 in Japanese, which is 350, you can say like 350, and then they might understand, You can say like 350 yen, and for yen, 350 yen desu ka? And then they'll try to help you out, right? Anyway, so that's that. And if you don't know how to buy tickets, then you ask, because yeah, I guess it might be hard for some people to work the machine first, right? Like when you get to Japan, it's your first time doing that. Then you can ask, 切符は Kippu, ticket, remember? 切符はどう買いますか? How do I buy the ticket? どう is like how. 買いますか? 買う means to buy. So 切符はどう買いますか? So that means, how do I buy tickets? And then they might tell you, oh, at the machine right there, あそこのチケット売り場で or something like that. And then if you still don't know how to do it, and then you could ask, お願いしてもいいですか? お願い is to ask someone to do something. お願いしてもいいですか? Is it okay to ask you to help me out with the buying tickets and stuff? お願いしてもいいですか? And then, when you're asking this, it's like within any country, you're asking someone a favor, and it's obviously not going to be like something that's how do you say it? It's going to be a drag for a lot of people. Some people might tell you they can't because they're busy, but if they're nice enough to help you out, don't take it for granted. Tell them すみませんありがとうございます not just ありがとうございます like I mean you could do that, but I would combine すみません like sorry, thank you, like すみませんありがとうございます and I guess that in a lot of Western countries, people might say, well, I don't even need to apologize. Well, what do I have to apologize? I'm just asking people to do me a favor, and just thanking them might be enough. But, in Japan, it's not like that, It's not so much of like, what? It's more about humility. So when you say すみません, which means sorry in English if you literally translate it, it has a different feel. It's not like in the States where if you say sorry, it means like you're okay to take a dick up your ass or something. It's not like that in Japan. Like when you say すみません, it's like that itself already sort of means thank you in like a deeper way. So if you say like すみませんありがとうございます, that adds it, adds the accent. It's like, you're doing me a favor and I appreciate it, thank you. That's what it means. It doesn't mean, oh, sorry, yeah, I'm inferior, like, compared to you, so I'm going to take it up the ass right now. Like, it doesn't mean, it's not the same thing as English, okay? So please forget that, how do do you say, concept. And yeah, it's okay to say sumimasen for everything. Because I think sumimasen is one of the words that I use the most when I'm in Japan. Like, for example, if I want to, if there's a lot of people and I want to, get through people, I would say, sumimasen, sumimasen, sumimasen. You know, it's kind of like excuse me. Or, yeah, like when I ask someone, sumimasen. Or, yeah. So basically, if you say sumimasen, a little pause, arigatou gozaimasu, then that's gonna add more to the appreciation, and some people will appreciate that back. So know that, okay? Next up, some keywords. Transfer, meaning connecting, how do you say? Connecting trains, I guess? When you don't go directly to the destination, that means norikae, norikae. Noru means to get on something, and kae means to change. So the changing of the getting on, kind of. So norikae. You might hear this from the people who are trying to help you out when you're asking how to get to places. They might tell you, 何々駅で乗り換えて, that means like you change the train at the station. 乗り換えて. And then if you want to ask, where do I change the train? Then you can say, 乗り換え, どこで乗り換えですか? You could say, どこで乗り換えますか? But, whichever, that's easier. どこで乗り換えますか? And that means, where do I change the train? Like, where do I transfer? Where do I connect? So that's 乗り換え. Next up is ホーム. When you hear home, you might think home, but in this case it means platform, okay? So when they say like 3番 home, like 番 means number, 3 is 3, so number 3 platform is, they might tell you, Tokyo eki, どう行きますか? You ask how to get to Tokyo Station, and then they might tell you, oh yeah, you get on the train at 3番ホームに、3番ホームで、blah blah 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 blah. So that means go to platform 3. So that might be useful to know. Home means platform. If you want to ask, where is it? If they tell you something like, oh yeah, you go to platform 3, and then you want to say, well, where is it? Then you can say, どちらですか? どちらですか? Well, どちらですか is a very, very polite way to ask, where is it? But yeah, it doesn't hurt to be polite as hell. So, どちらですか? If you want to stress the context and you say 3番ホーム, どちらですか? Or you can say, where is that? それは, you could also say それはどこですか? You can just say どこですか too. That's a little more casual. どこですか? You can say それは that. It means それはどこですか? And then that they might point it out to you. It's just, and then when they're pointing out some of the words that can help you out is, first of all, right. Right means in Japanese is migi. Left is hidari. Okay. By the way, I'm using like a selfie camera, so if it appears differently, does it appear right side? Okay. Oh well. You know how when you some application, when you use the whatever camera, like the selfie camera, when you do this, it's like it goes the other way because it's, yeah, okay, anyway, that's so not. So anyway, migi, hidari, that's left, and then straight is masugu, straight. And then in case if you miss the train and then you want to know like what time the next one arrives or something, 次の電車 means the next ride, the next train means, 次 means next and 電車 is train. So 次の電車は, you might hear someone tell you this because you might have missed it while you're asking someone what time the train arrives, and then they might say, like, they might tell you, like, もう行っちゃいましたね。行っちゃいました。Like, 行っちゃった means the train just went, they just left. So, 行っちゃいましたね。で、次の電車は3時50分ですね or something. They might tell you the time. And yes, it does not hurt to know how to say like to know numbers and time, right? Like 350 is 35 10分 or something like that. So it doesn't hurt to know how to say that. If not, then worst comes to worst, and you can take out a piece of paper and write it down and, you know, ask them. But yeah, so you can, but you can spare all that hassle by knowing how to count and how to say the time. Okay, so after all has been done, and you just want to say thank you for helping out, and then you just go to wherever platform. After they're done helping you out, you should say "arigatou gozaimashita." That means thank you. But if you want to be more polite, "ご丁寧に" means like thank you for like being so detailed and spending so much time and putting your effort. Thank you for that. That's ご丁寧に arigatou gozaimashita. And then if you say 助かります, means it really helped me out. You really helped me out, or it helps me out. It means 助かります. ご丁寧に arigatou gozaimashita. 助かります. If you know how to say this, I think you can impress a lot of people who help you out, because you will give a good impression of being a foreigner. Not being a foreigner. You give a good impression as a foreigner visiting Japan, right? You're going to be the good gaijin. And by the way, I explain this all the time, but gaijin is not a bad word, okay? In case people are so like, oh, gaijin, oh, no. It is not. It is not, I'm going to do a video on this sometime else too, but I have a feeling that the reason why people find this word gaijin like not cool is because they try to literally translate things to how do you say, for example, English, right? Because gaijin is just a shortened form of gaikokujin, which means foreigner, because it gets long for some people to say gaikokujin. It's like just long, so they just say gaijin, just makes it short. But that, like, if you take a look at the kanji characters, gai is outside, and then jin is person. So they think that it's like an outside person. Oh, I'm not an outside person. Well, you are. Like, if you're coming from a foreign country. And I've never met anyone using the word gaijin with the how do you say, like, with bad intention. It's not like those how do you say, racist words that were created to offend people. It's not like that. Or, well, at least from the moment I was born to up to this point, my understanding that the word has never been used in such a negative way. It's just we use it just meaning foreigners. So, oh well. I guess I just explained it right here, right? Yeah, but yeah, like don't always believe the things that you see in Hollywood movies just because they're using non-Japanese cast who can't speak Japanese, saying these things, and then people, start to believe that, ooh, it's a bad word because that character in that movie that was supposed to take place in Japan, which most times don't, ooh, that's a bad word. Like, don't believe the things, all the time, like every time that you see on the internet or movies, okay? You know where to come to. You come to this channel, and if you have questions, then ask me, alright? And maybe there are things that I might not know too, so then in that case, enlighten me so that I can disable the comments. Because I'm always correct, even if I'm wrong. Until next time, guys, straight to the kokoro. I am your Sensei Joe from the best Japanese lesson in the galaxy, Chinko. Boys and girls 男の子は強く優しくて清く正しく君とならどこまでも行けるから This is not who I am. This is not where I wanna be. 'Cause my
pathetic life.